Welcome to Caffeinated Flicks. I'm Celeste.
And I'm Kenzie. We're two chicks who drink coffee
and celebrate flicks from diverse directors.
If you like what you're hearing so far, take a moment to follow us in your favorite podcasting app.
And give us a rating or review. Here's the show. Yeah.
At least your twinkly lights are very pretty.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
I thought it would add nice ambience in the background.
Ambience.
Yeah.
So how are you?
I'm good. I feel like this month has been a blur. Really? I don't feel like the Christmas spirit. Do you know what I mean? Like previous years.
Yes.
It's just not hitting the same.
Yeah, I feel like every year my Christmas spirit dwindles by like 4% until it's no more. Like right now, I think I'm sitting at about like 36% or something of that nature, you know?
Yeah, the light is slowly dying.
I know, and it's so sad.
I know.
I love Christmas.
I know. So how are you doing? I know you have...
Oh my gosh. I think I'm slowly losing my mind.
I don't blame
like
you.
Today feels like Wednesday to the point where, because I have the kids, so Ray usually gets out early on Wednesdays.
Mm-hmm.
And she texted me at about like 1:30 when she would be getting out probably on Wednesdays. And she's like, oh, my club's been canceled today. So then at 3, I started panicking. I'm like, where are you? And so I'm calling her and texting her. And like 20 minutes later, she's like, oh, I'm in class. And I was like, oh, that's right. It's Tuesday. My bad. Like yesterday, I took off, but I had like 1,000 things to do. So I didn't even get to like relax for that. Cause like I had a doctor's appointment. I had 1,000 things to ship out. I shipped out the other half of my gifts today because I couldn't get through all of them yesterday.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. But you want to hear something funny?
What?
So I got my blood drawn yesterday because I went to the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how like when you have a vegan diet, they warn you that you should take iron supplements, vitamin D, and then B12 because the vegan diet is generally deficient in those.
Mm-hmm.
My iron's fine. My vitamin D is fine. My B12 is through the roof.
Like you have too much of it?
Yes, I have too much B12.
How does that happen? Are you taking like B12 supplements?
I am, yeah.
Oh
and so she was like,
him? Or were you
no,
told by a doctor too?
It's one of those things that because the vegan, you can only get B12 by eating meat. And
Really?
So, yeah, supposedly, according to my internet sleuthing. So you're supposed to take vitamin B12 when you're vegan because you don't get it. So I take a vitamin B12 and they're like, your vitamin B12 is too high. You need to stop your vitamins for a couple of days, let it level out, and then go to a lower dosage. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, at least I'm good, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not deficient in it.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, hopefully nothing like negative happens if you have like too high.
No, she just said like, I'll pee it out is really what happens.
Oh, fun. Okay.
Yeah. Like most, have you ever seen that episode of Big Bang Theory when Penny goes to the grocery store with Sheldon and she's asking him about like what vitamins she should take? And he's like, why? You're just buying expensive pee because it all just comes out anyway.
Right. I know. I never took supplements because I heard that too. They're like, oh, you need to take extra iron. You need to take extra this. And then I went, I don't know where I got, but I had blood drawn. And they're like, your iron levels are amazing. And I'm like, oh.
Right.
I feel like that's just a way to get us like vegetarians and vegans to buy into it.
I don't know. I know so many people who say like, oh yeah, I was vegan for a while, but then I became anemic, which is when you don't have enough iron. And so then they like had to go back to eating meat and I don't really ever want to. And so I'm like, I'm going to make sure I have my iron and my vitamin D and my vitamin B12.
Right. There you go.
So everything else is great. And I just need to lay off my B12 for a while.
Yeah.
But it's so funny because vitamin B is supposed to give you energy, and I'm just like chronically exhausted all the time. So,
oh no, maybe you're so used to the high. And now that like you're leveled out, your body's like, I'm exhausted.
Oh no, they told me that today. Like I haven't had the chance to.
That was today. Oh yeah.
That's today.
Ooh. Also, it's been so cloudy. Maybe the weather's having an effect on you.
Oh, I don't know. I just think I'm chronically exhausted, and hopefully I've got some kind of something that can explain something, but we'll see.
Hopefully.
But yeah, like they checked my thyroid and everything like that because of my exhaustion and stuff. So, but all of that came back normal. So on to the next step of figuring out me as a medical enigma.
I know. You're always making trips to the doctor's, Kenzie. What's going to happen when you're old?
I don't even know. I hope I don't make it that long, honestly. I'm just like...
What makes it fun? Let's be in the Christmas spirit. And we're like, oh my God, I don't want to live.
Scrooge was also Christmas, so.
Oh my God.
No, my thing is like, if this gets worse, I don't know if I can handle it.
True.
So I've got to equal out somehow. Fingers crossed.
Oh gosh.
So now that we've gone for far too long on my medications.
I was going to ask, like, since you've got the kiddos and you've got a lot going on right now, what are you caffeinating yourself with? Because obviously
so yesterday.
Or you need to
be. Oh, yeah. I am, just to maintain uprightness. So yesterday, as part of my thousands of errands, I went to the grocery store and I got, I think it's pronounced Stoke coffee.
Ooh.
It's just that like pre-cold brewed coffee that you can get in like a container in the fridge in like the refrigerated section or the juices and stuff, which I think it's so poignant that it's right next to the juice. So I took that and I put some chocolate oat milk in there and I was like, Mocha cold brew. Ta-da! It doesn't have to be expensive.
It doesn't, no.
So what about you?
So today I did go to Black Rock. But over the weekend, I went to, have you been to Press?
Yes.
Off of, I think it's like off of like the 51. I went there to get a matcha. It was so disgusting. I had to throw out on my way.
Oh, that's so sad.
So there, apparently, they make it hot. And then if you want to ice, then they'll throw it over. Yeah, but the thing is, so I asked for ice, so they make it hot to blend it all together, and then they throw it over ice. So it was like lukewarm, and I had like 5 ice cubes left. I'm like, no, I'm going to drink it. And it was just so and I had it sweetened with honey, and it was just like, it was lukewarm. It was like really bitter. Like I've had like unsweetened matcha before, and this was like not that. And I'm like, what is this? I can't do it. So I threw it out on my way out. I was too embarrassed to like ask for another one. And it was so busy. I'm like, I don't want to. But yeah.
That's so sad.
But today, very delicious Mexican mocha. So
you and your Mexican mochas.
That's what I had today.
Oh man. I think so. I used to go to Press a lot because there used to be one downtown where like one of my friends lived around the corner of. And so what I used to get all the time there was a peanut butter shaken cold brew. So you put like peanut butter powder in there, some like agave, and then you have your cold brew, and then you shake it in like a shaker, and then you put it into your cup over ice. It's delicious.
Oh my God. That's a lot.
So good.
It sounds interesting.
I'm a little extra, so we've decided. But yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. Alrighty.
So I'm assuming your Mexican mocha was iced, right?
Of course. Always, yes. Unless it's like freezing out.
What is your threshold? Like, what temperature do you drink hot drinks?
If I'm going to be outside, it has to be like freezing. Like, I don't know. I don't know what's freezing in Arizona, but
I know. I'm like, I went out this morning, and I think this morning it was like 46 degrees or something like that. And I was just like, oh my God, this is so cold.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. If I ever leave to get coffee in the morning, I bundle up. I have like a coat on. I've got layers And then also in my office, I keep like a little, oh my gosh, it's one of those little portable heaters.
Yes.
My room is like a sauna and it's so nice. And then I come out and I'm like, oh my God.
We have a little space heater also, and sometimes I steal it because there's nothing better than like pointing it on my feet for whatever reason.
Oh yeah.
And just making sure that my feet are warm and toasty. If my feet are warm and toasty, I'm good.
All of you are warm and toasty. So
Yep. Exactly.
Oh my goodness. Shall we get into our movie?
Let's do it.
Christmas movie. Yay. So we're doing, today's film is Elf. As far as like the director goes, so I looked up information on him, like on his, because we like to do, oh my God, I forgot what we do. What kind of directors do we do?
Their background, diverse directors.
Diverse directors. There we go. Yeah. We usually do diverse directors. I looked up Jon Favreau, and like it's mentioned that he has like Jewish ancestry on like one side. So like it's pushing it a bit, but Elf is a classic, so we had to do it. So.
It is. Love Jon Favreau too. Well, and like just his experience is a little bit different too, because he started off as an actor and this was really his like first feature film, and he has done what Hitchcock and M. Night have done, which is like everything that he pretty much films, he stars in at some point in time, mostly as a side character, but he's there.
Yeah, he's there. He's popping in. So Jon Favreau was born October 19th, so he's a Libra. In 6. I didn't realize that's how old he is.
Oh.
I know.
So he's going to be 60 in like 3 years.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's older than I thought he was. He was born in New York. He attended the Queens College in 1984. However, he did drop out and moved to Chicago, where he focused on comedy and performed at several improv theaters.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. So he met Vince Vaughn early in his career, and they decided to write themselves into 1996 Swingers, which ended up being both of their breakout films. So that is amazing. And they've remained friends ever since and have appeared in several other films together. Other things he's appeared in, Kenzie, as I'm sure you're friends. He played Monica's, I think,
boyfriend for a little while.
I remember that episode, and I was so mad at her for breaking up with him because I remember he had money in that episode. I'm like, girl, you're like, doing?
I'm setting up my gold digger ways. Let's do this.
Right? He also appeared in Dogtown, Daredevil with, what's his face?
Ben Affleck?
Ben Affleck, yep. He appeared in Four Christmases, which I just recently watched. I love that movie. And then I think he's most famously known for like Iron Man, the Iron Man movies and Avengers. And as far as like,
well, because he also directed those, some of them.
He did?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he directed Iron Man and he directed some of the Avengers movies, but he also plays Happy, who is Iron Man's chauffeur. So I love the fact that his name is Happy.
I thought he just appeared in those movies. I did not know he also directed them. I think he's most recently known for producing and directing both hit series, The Mandalorian and The Last of Us, which Kenzie,
I didn't know he did The Last of Us.
Yeah, have you not seen either of those? I think we've spoken about it.
I have not. No, but
you should, because they're both really.
I know. Yeah, I know for sure. I want to watch The Last of Us at some point in time. I've been waiting for it to settle down.
What does that mean?
I don't like watching things when people are so up in arms about them. I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna wait until this is over. It's like fade or phase. Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. People have very strong feelings about these.
They do. They get too intense.
Yeah. That one specifically, I think, because it was a video game. I had never heard of it.
Yeah.
But Billy was the one that wanted to watch it. So I was like, okay.
My ex, so I've been with Richard for like 10 plus years now, but my ex before Richard played The Last of Us. So I knew that it was based off of a video game. And like he was a big Star Wars, Indiana Jones video game fanatic. So I know a good chunk of these things. But to be fair, it has also been like 10 years. So
Okay.
shout out to Conrad, even though he probably doesn't listen at all.
Okay. Oh, goodness. Okay. So moving on to the cast here. We've got our star of the movie, Will Ferrell as Buddy. We've got James Caan, beautiful, talented Zooey Deschanel. Again, Jon Favreau himself. We've got Peter, is it Dinklage? We've got Peter Dinklage. We've got Bob Newhart. Mary again. Mary, what is it? Steenburgen, who apparently just plays everybody's mom in every movie.
I can see that. I can definitely see that.
We've got Ed Asner, Daniel Tate, Amy Sedaris, who's hilarious, fun, super fun, talented cast here. So this is, as you mentioned, I think, Will Ferrell's first leading role. And also Wanda Sykes was originally supposed to be in this film. So she was supposed to play Gimbel's manager, but backed out at last minute. And that is when she was replaced by Faison Love. And then Gary Shandling was offered the role of Walter, but ended up turning it down.
So, fun fact about the Wanda Sykes role, because I watched the Movies That Made Us on Netflix, and they do that episode on Elf. So, Faison Love. Yeah, so his name tag says Wanda on it because they thought they had Wanda in the bag. Like,
yeah,
they were so excited about it. And then she dropped out, and they thought it would be hilarious if Faison just continued to wear it.
Yep. I saw that too. I love that series.
Me too.
Do you want to go ahead and get into the ratings?
Absolutely. So, the 10 out of 10. How can you not like it? It blows my mind that this movie doesn't have higher ratings. It is an amazing, family-friendly, funny Christmas movie filled with great music, mischief, and more. What's not to like? Honestly, I feel bad for people who don't like this movie. They have to be pretty miserable and pessimistic not to find any joy in such a wonderful, quotable, all-around happy film.
Alrighty, so the 1 out of 10, just in all caps, awful. The worst movie I've ever seen. I regret not leaving after 20 minutes. It's such a terrible movie. There's no story to it. It's not funny. It has nothing to do with Christmas, really. I'm sorry, were we watching the same movie? Will Ferrell is an ugly elf. And the usually funny Ferrell is very unfunny in this movie. And it's just badly made.
This is one of those people who don't have any joy and are just generally pessimistic.
I know. I'm like, how many times can I say funny in this?
Right.
Like 2 sentences.
And who says that an elf has to be pretty? Like, why can't there be ugly elves? Like, why not?
Exactly. I don't know.
He just looks like Will Ferrell, honestly.
He does. He's looked the same for the past 20, 30 years. Like,
right.
He looks exactly the same as he did in this movie.
Right. Speaking of which, I believe we skipped over, what is your history with the movie?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. I'm pretty sure, we're going on, it just reached its 20th anniversary. So I feel like this is a movie I probably would have watched in theaters, but we definitely owned it, and it was a classic in our home. I love this movie. But yeah,
I love that for you.
It's been 20 years. Holy crap.
I know. And it's just all over the place now. Like a bunch of other like movie recap podcasts are doing it. So we just happen to be timely. That wasn't purposeful, but it worked out real nice. Like, I honestly can't tell you the first time that I watched this, but I know that it was well after it came out. So fun fact, I grew up never liking Will Ferrell. So I avoided all Will Ferrell movies like the plague. And so I don't think I watched this until like maybe 8 or 10 years ago, something like that. So it was somewhat recent.
Wait, why don't you like him? Like, what did you see him in that you were like,
now?
Yeah, but like, why did you avoid him at first?
So when I first came to know of Will Ferrell, it was all about like Talladega Nights and like some of those other movies that he's done that to me just seem like lowbrow comedy, if you will. And so I just wasn't really caring for it until the first Will Ferrell movie that I ever loved was A Stranger Than Fiction. Absolutely adore that movie. It's my favorite Will Ferrell movie ever. It's got Emma Thompson in it. It's incredible. It's got Queen Latifah in it. It's amazing. It's got Maggie Gyllenhaal in it. It's just awesome. I could talk about that movie for hours and hours. But after watching that movie, I then started to branch out in some of the Will Ferrell oeuvre, if you will. And so that's when I landed on finally watching Elf. I got over myself essentially and was like, okay, let me just go ahead and sit down and watch it.
Oh my goodness.
And I enjoy it.
Yeah, that makes me sad for you. Yeah, he does those like stupid comedy kind of films.
Yeah. There are a few where I'm just like, nah, this isn't my kind of humor, but that's okay. But there are a couple of them that I really like. Like, I still love Anchorman. Anchorman's great. But I also didn't.
Anchorman.
You should watch Anchorman. It's great. It's hilarious. But it's all because of Richard, like, that I watched that movie because it was like one of his top 10 favorite movies. So we watched it and we watched Anchorman 2 and stuff like that. And it's actually pretty funny if you watch it. Yeah. It's good. And it's got Christina Applegate in it. Who doesn't love Christina Applegate? Right. It's got Steve Carell. It's got Kristen Wiig in it. Like, so good.
Oh, okay. I actually named Chaka after one of his movies, Land of the Lost.
Oh,
it's not a very well-acclaimed film, but I love it.
I need to watch that one.
It's a stupid fun movie.
I mean,
I'm going to warn you right now.
Fun adventure movies, so
not for everyone. But I love it. I thought it was funny, and it's like a fantasy adventure film. So there you go.
That's all that matters, as long as you like it. That is, if there's anything we take away from this that we've learned from these 10 out of 10 and 1 out of 10 ratings is it's each to the eye of the beholder.
Yep. Oh my goodness. Shall we go ahead and get into the recap?
Let's do it.
All right. So we open up in the North Pole with only 2 weeks till Christmas. We've got Papa Elf, who begins sharing the story of the first human being to set foot in Santa's workshop.
I'm trying to figure out, is Santa human or not then? Is Santa...
That's what I wonder too, because he's like the same size as a human in comparison to elves. Who knows?
But he lives forever.
He's like a mystical hybrid being. I don't know, of some sort.
I don't know.
Who knows? So baby Buddy sneaks into Santa's toy sack from at an orphanage, and Santa returns and the elves begin preparations for next year. So they're all singing and chanting, and they're very excited to get back to work. That is commitment there. So a baby comes out of the bag, and I love how they look at the baby's diaper and they're like, Buddy Elves diapers. His name's Buddy. So that's how he got his name. Not very bright, these elves.
When you're spending all of your time making toys, might as well. You got to go for what's obvious.
And a bunch of sweets, right? So Papa Elf offers to adopt Buddy. And fun fact, I went ahead and slipped in like the fun facts throughout the notes. So director Jon Favreau's son actually plays young Buddy that is sitting on Papa's knee.
It's so cute.
I know. So Buddy was raised along with the other elves as though everything is normal. Of course, he's like triple their size.
From the jump.
Exactly. He then discovers, as Papa shows him, that Santa's sleigh no longer flies from the Christmas spirit. I love this scene.
So sad. See, I told you, it goes down 4% every year.
I know, it is. I know, Papa Elf's like, there's like some rumor down there that it's the parents that give the kids their presents. He's like, what? That's ridiculous.
I love that.
I know. So a drawback of being a human in an elf's world is that they're not able to make toys as fast as the others. So, oh gosh, I think it's Ming maybe who's like tallying up everybody's numbers. It's like, come on, Buddy. So how much did you make? I think it's at like 78 or something. And everybody's shocked. That number is just not acceptable. So that's when we get one of my favorite lines, just admit I'm a cotton-headed ninny muggins. And I guess that's like the equivalent to like like bad words up there.
Because everybody goes shocked.
I know. There's
How dare you say that?
I know. Not the C word. So he went to where all the special elves go when I guess they're just not good at their job. So another fun fact, Jon, he used a remote control to trigger the Jack-in-the-Box toys to get the startled reactions from Will Ferrell. It's just
That'll do it, I tell you what.
I know, right? So Buddy overhears some of the other elves talking, and he discovers that he is a human. I love when he like panics and he goes out and he's talking to I think Leon, the snowman, and he's like, "It turns out I'm a human." He's like, "Well, duh." So you've had a beard since you were 15. Right. So he discovers that his father, his biological father, is in New York, aka Walter, but he also learns that he is on the naughty list. Oh goodness. So he's off to New York to find his father. So another fun fact, in the scene when he's walking through the tunnels of New York, several minor traffic accidents occurred when Will Ferrell was walking through the Lincoln Tunnel in his costumes because people were so surprised and distracted from their driving to see him wearing an elf outfit. I feel like if you are easily distracted, causing you to cause a car accident just by seeing someone in an elf outfit, maybe you shouldn't be driving. Like, if that's all it takes is to see a guy on the side of the road in an elf outfit.
I've been in a couple of Ubers or like taxis in New York, and that is a whole different level of driving skills that I do not ever wish to have. I just generally close my eyes and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to let them do it. I'm just going to let them go.
Yeah, I was in one once and it's stressful, man. I'm like, yep. That's the way to do it. Cover your eyes, because if not, you'll stress yourself out.
Get to people's bumpers and how like quickly they change lanes. And I'm like, I can't, I got to look out the window. Like I can't look forward no matter what. I can't pay attention to what he's doing because that'll just be too much for me.
Right. Oh no. So Buddy makes it to the big city. So he's just having a field day in the city. He's just like a kid on a playground. He's enjoying everything there is to enjoy. He's eating gum off the streets. He's doing it all. And then in the scene where he runs into the guy in like the red jumpsuit, and the ref, he's like, "Santa!" And he confuses him for Santa. That was actually not an actor. It was just a random guy on the street.
And just Will Ferrell doing his sketch comedy, ad-libbing it.
Oh no. So he goes to the Empire State Building where Walter works, and they think that he's being sent as a Christmas gram. So they're like going with it. I forgot the receptionist's name. I don't know if they gave her a name, but she's just going with it. She's like, "You're from the North
She's
Pole."
so funny.
Oh gosh. Cute.
She's so excited. She's like talking to a 4-year-old. I swear.
I know. Oh man. So Walter's just like, "Okay, give it to me. Do what you got to do." He's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Aren't you going to like sing or something?" So he sings a god awful song that he just makes up on the fly. And I love Walter's reaction. He's like, "That was weird," or something like.
He's like, "I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you." I think his receptionist's name is Deb.
Deb. There we go. Deb.
Yeah.
So he mentioned Susan Wells, who was his biological mother, who sadly ended up passing away. He mentions that name, and Walter immediately is like, "We got to get rid of this guy. Who is this guy?" So he gets kicked out. Also, another fun fact, one of the security guards that kicks Buddy out is actually the brother of Jon, the director. I don't know which brother it was, but one of them.
I think it was the taller one.
The taller one? Okay. That makes sense, because I read that Jon Favreau is like 6'1" or something. So
That's odd. He doesn't really look like it.
He doesn't look tall, does he? But when I was reading his info, I'm like, oh,
no.
Okay. He's a tall guy. But he heads over to Gimbel's and is mistaken as one of the employees because he's in an elf costume, naturally. and he is put to work. So, yeah, as you mentioned, Faison Love, who ended up taking the part over Wanda Sykes, apparently he was the one on insisting to keep the name tag as Wanda.
I love that. You gotta have a good sense of humor for that.
Right? So his character, who is just the Gimbals manager, mentions that Santa is coming tomorrow. And he just flips. We get the famous...
He's more excited than I've ever seen anybody.
I know. Like, I know.
And everybody just thinks that he's just an over excited person.
Yes, he's just like a very over enthusiastic employee for they probably make minimum wage, if we're being honest.
Yes.
We're all like, chill, dude.
I can definitely see that.
So then is when he meets Jovi, and he lets her know that the best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear.
And she's like, I sing, but I don't sing in front of people. And he's like, but it's easy. And she's like,
yeah,
that's not what I meant.
He ends up staying after closing to give the North Pole, quote unquote, a major makeover to welcome Santa.
His decorative skills are something to envy, I tell you what.
Well, technically he's had training, so he is an elf. It only makes sense.
All right, so that is my plan. I'm going to go to the North Pole. I'm going to meet Santa. I'm going to live amongst the elves. I'm going to be taken in, and then I'm going to know how to do it upright.
Teach me their ways. Yep.
Do some incredible snowflake art. Like, it's going to be great.
Oh my goodness. So after he finishes all of that, over here, kitty. Oh my goodness, kitty cat.
Fugitive, stop it. I don't know if you heard that. Meow.
I did. I know. I heard her. I saw her.
That's one of my mom's 4 cats.
4? I thought she had like 2. Oh, okay. Did she get more?
No, she's got.
She's
no. She's had 4.
Oh, okay.
About for like almost 2 years. So.
Oh my. Fun. So he overhears Joey singing beautifully to Baby It's Cold Outside. And is this a locker room? Because this place that they work, it's like a department store. But for some reason, there's like a locker room with showers there.
Yeah.
So
a couple of places I've worked at.
Maybe it is in New York.
Depends on your definition of normal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like it's kind of gross outside sometimes. So, or if you're somebody who bikes to work or something like that, like it's good to have a shower so that way you can be fresh for work.
Yeah, that makes sense. So people didn't know Zooey Deschanel has been in a band called She and Him since 2006. Hence why she's such a beautiful singer.
She was also married to the lead singer of Death Cab for Cutie for years, but they divorced a while back.
I have no idea who that is. What you just mentioned. Rock?
I'm going to have to teach you. No, actually, it's like, what style is theirs? Yeah, it's some kind of indie. Let me see what they consider themselves as. Death Cab for Cutie. According to Apple Music, they are alternative.
Oh.
That's extremely descriptive.
Alternative to what?
I don't know. Because they're not like alternative rock. I guess they're just alternative. But I'll have to send you some songs. Some of them are really good. Like I really like one album of theirs, and then everything else is okay. But I haven't listened to them a whole lot more than just like that one album.
Oh, okay. I was going to say good for her, but it didn't work out. So I don't know.
I mean, it could still be good for them, you know.
Yeah,
who knows?
You never know.
Like just because somebody gets a divorce doesn't mean that it was a failed relationship, you know. It just means it's time to move on. You've learned a lot from any person you come in contact with. You learn a lot from. So whether it's good or bad or things to stay away from. So
there you go. Oh my. So of course, Buddy attempts to revisit Walter again, is unsuccessful. But he did drop off a present. He makes his way back to, gosh, I don't even know what they're remember. Grimbles.
Gremlin?
Gremlin?
What is it?
Gremlin.
Which is the weirdest part. Gimbals.
Gimbals. There you go. It is the most odd name. Like, I don't. Gimbals.
It makes no sense for a department store.
Yeah, I don't get it either. And he lets Jovi know that he's the one that's responsible for this decor. The manager, on the other hand, he's shooketh, but also paranoid. He thinks that like someone's coming for his job. He's like, they're out for my job. We got to keep an eye out, guys. Everybody take a walkie. He's like,
he's so funny.
He is. He's hilarious.
He kind of reminds me of the store manager from Chuck also. So you should watch Chuck. Yeah. It's got Zach Levi in it. And it's so good.
Oh, I do know that. It's funny.
And what's his name? He's a Baldwin, but he's not related to Alec Baldwin. I think his name's Adam Baldwin. Hold on. Let me find out. But ironically enough, so like Adam Baldwin, if that is who I'm thinking of, also played Jane in Adam Baldwin also played Jane in Firefly and Serenity, and then in Chuck he plays somebody named Casey. So I just think their name choices are very funny.
Oh, okay. I vaguely remember Firefly just because we watched it at your place.
Yes. I will make you watch it again because it's great. Sorry, I'll stop with the asides now.
No, you're good. They're good side notes.
I hope so. I'm just in here like, look at this. Look at this. It's kind of branching off.
Oh, man. So they mention, so she asks him, she's like, hey, you, like, what were you doing last night? Why were you, my mind is just drawing a blank right now. Sometimes
why were you in the women's locker room?
Why were you in the women's locker room?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, you sure it had nothing to do with the fact that I was naked? And she's like, no, I didn't even know you'd be naked in the shower or something along those lines. But he lets her know that she has the most beautiful singing voice. So then Santa arrives and he's just totally stoked. He's like up front with the kiddos. He's like, Santa, it's me, buddy. Goes up to the Santa and discovers that it is not, in fact, the real Santa. He's like, you sit on a throne of lies. You smell like beef and cheese. And so this Santa's ghetto. He's like, you better get away from me. I know. He's like ready to brawl. So they do. They end up getting into like a full-on fight. And then, so they only had, because of how much detail and work went into the set, they only had one shot to shoot the scene just because of how much work went into it, which I can't imagine how much, like how stressful that would be and how much pressure.
Right.
To make sure you got it right.
My gosh.
Can you imagine being the person to like fuck up and being like, oh, no, sorry, guys.
It's like, ooh, I hope that works out well. Right? Editing's great, right? Editing's magic.
Yeah. We can CGI something in there, right?
In 2003.
Yeah. It was coming up. After the whole Santa fiasco, Buddy gets arrested, of course. And then we see the gift that Buddy gifted Walter, which happened to be Christmas lingerie. And I love how Deb walks in as he's pulling it up and she's like, ooh, what's that? What do we got here?
It is very cute. It is very like, and that look is timeless. Like you can still find that same exact pair of lingerie around.
Yeah. It's a classic.
I'm not saying from personal experience or anything, but what's great is like when Buddy goes and picks it up, the sign next to it says a gift for that somebody special. And so that's when he was like, oh, that's great. I'm going to get it for my dad because he's somebody special.
So innocent and adorable.
I know. Only Will Ferrell can really pull off this kind of naivete, really.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. So, Buddy ends up calling Walter to bail him out. And Walter's just in complete disbelief that this kid is, or this man is his son. So he goes.
Yeah, he's like 30 years old at this point.
It is. goes to get a paternity test to confirm that he is his son. And Jon Favreau is the one who plays the doctor.
Whoop, whoop.
I don't know. So John's like, yep, he's your son, or the doctor. I don't know what the doctor's name is, but he's like, yep, he is your son. It's a boy.
It's a boy.
It's a boy.
His name is Dr. Leonardo.
Dr. Lee. Okay.
Yeah, what a random name. I like
know,
Dr.
right?
Happy.
Right. That would have worked better in this movie, yeah.
Right.
So the cotton balls that Buddy is eating are actually made of cotton candy. So
Oh, thank goodness.
I know. That's what I actually thought. I'm like, he probably really is eating cotton balls. Because do you remember?
They look so good. Like, they look like cotton balls. Like, they did that cotton candy real well.
I actually believed that it was actual cotton balls. Not because it looked so realistic, but because I was like, oh, I remember back in like the early 2000s, whenever I would listen to like some models' interviews, and they would mention how they would eat like
They would say that they would eat cotton balls so they would get full. I remember now.
Right? Like that was like mainstream information. I'm like, actually it's edible. Like if models can do it.
That doesn't mean it's edible. I'm pretty sure that destroys your digestive system. My God, I totally forgot that was a fad.
It was.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, right? Diet culture.
The scary lengths that people go to in order to lose weight. Tapeworms, cotton balls. What are they going to think of next?
Oh my gosh. Wild times, man. Wild freaking times. It's a freaking shock that we made it out alive. Anyways.
I'm still like taking it day by day here.
Oh yeah. It's still a work in process. I'm still healing.
I'm still trying to unlearn that trauma.
I know. Oh man. So Dr. Leonardo convinces Walter to bring Buddy home. And it's so crazy when he's telling his, I'm assuming wife now, Emily, about Buddy. She is just so excited about the news. And I feel like maybe most people might not be as excited. I feel like most people might be like, what the fudge? But she seems to be very ecstatic about the news.
I keep telling Richard, like, one day somebody's going to show up on our doorstep and they're going to be a love child that he had like 15 years ago.
Oh my God. That's crazy. Wait, jokingly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jokingly.
I'm
half
like,
jokingly. But still.
Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. Okay.
He's a handsome dude. He got around before me. Like, so I'm just
a little playa or what?
Well, I will tell you, he was not, a virgin when I met him. So.
Oh my goodness. Stay tuned in case.
I'm going to have to do a lot of editing on this.
I know, yeah. Yes, sorry. So Walter and Emily come home to another Christmas wonderland in their home. So over dinner, she invites him to stay with them. And she's like, yeah, like, how long were you thinking? He's like, geez, well, I was thinking forever. Like, just casually.
The look on her face is like, oh God, what did I get myself into?
What have I done? Yeah.
Oh,
man. So the next morning, oh no, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, so she serves them dinner, or she serves them spaghetti for dinner, and he asks for maple syrup, and she's like, I don't think we have any. And he's like, oh, okay. And so he starts checking his sleeves. He's like, aha, I found my magic bottle. You never go anywhere without it. And he pours the entire bottle on his spaghetti. The amount of syrup that he consumes in this disgusts me to no end. Like, do you remember that episode of Gilmore Girls when they had the maple syrup like society like at the end and they were doing maple tasting?
Yes, and they would spit it out.
It's so gross.
Yeah, I remember that. So nasty. I know. It was
so that's all I think of.
Yeah, she's like, is there syrup? And she's like, it's spaghetti. Like, oh man. So the next morning, naturally, Buddy makes spaghetti for everybody with syrup. And poor thing, poor Emily's character actually has to eat it in front of him. She's
I
like,
know.
yummy.
Oh, I wonder if she actually ate it. Like, I wonder what they did with that. I can't even.
I feel like she must have. If he had to, because she only had to take like one bite.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. I think she did.
I think it would be fine as long as there wasn't any like tomato sauce on there. Like plain spaghetti with some maple syrup for one bite would be tolerable because it's basically just pasta or just like bread or some kind of carb. And you eat syrup on like waffles and pancakes and stuff like that, like simple carbs.
It would be fine.
So
it wouldn't be the
it
worst.
would be fine as long as there wasn't any tomato sauce on there.
Oh man. Yeah, that'd be good. And so she asks him, she's like, oh, so like, how did you sleep? Did you sleep okay? He's like, yeah, I got a full whopping 40 minutes of sleep. And I built a rocking chair. She's like, what? And she's like, where did you get the wood for that? And then we just flash over to the TV stand, like all butchered.
What I also don't understand is like, so if he is supposed to be a human in an elf's world, he says the 4 major food groups are candy canes, syrup, and can't remember what else, but some other kind of sweet treat. And those are the 4 major food groups. That's what they eat all the time. And he's saying like, I got a full 40 minutes of sleep. Like, how are you surviving? You're not getting any nutrition. You're not getting enough sleep at all. Like, what in the world? Like,
maybe
I get
he
if that's like
to elf life.
Maybe. I'm like, how often are you doing 40-minute sleeps? Like,
who knows?
See how that works.
Right. I know, increments of 40 minutes of sleep. Maybe the elf was like slipping him some like supplements for like extra nutrients.
He's giving him Flintstone gummies. Right? Like, it's fine.
I'm thinking that's what happened. Oh no. So Walter tells him, he's like, now that you're not at the North Pole anymore, you probably shouldn't be dressing like an elf. So get rid of that as soon as possible. And he's like, okay. And he straight up just flashes the two of them. I'm pretty sure his front side was to Emily and his back side was to Walter. So both of them got a view, got a shot.
I'm like, I can't decide what's worse, honestly.
Both are equally.
It's like if you were to turn to the side, then you just get equal halves of everything. Like,
yeah. But Will Ferrell seems to me like a very hairy man. So I feel like a hairy butt crack. Like that would be a scary sight to see, just as much as the front. Like, just.
Do you think he manscapes? Like,
no, I don't. He's like the kind that would just like let it grow freely.
He does have that 70s like free love kind of thing going on. Yeah. Apologies to Will Ferrell in advance.
Yeah, it's fancy. Oh man. So the scene when Buddy eats different candies and pastries with the spaghetti noodles, that horrific thing, pile of food, it actually had to be shot twice because Will Ferrell vomited the first time.
As he should. Like,
as he
my
should,
God.
Yeah, it's not surprised me.
I can't. How did he even get a second shot in there? Like, the second that I throw up from something, my body remembers it. And so if I even smell it, I'm just like, ugh.
Yep. Samesies. Ugh.
He took the cotton balls and stuck it up his nose.
Yep. So we see that Walter is feeling pressure at work and I think he's a publisher. That's what he does for work.
Yeah, he's like a children's book publisher.
So his boss is expecting him to work on Christmas Eve. Buddy shows up at Michael's school. Michael is just completely embarrassed by him. He's like, oh my God. He walks in the opposite direction. He's like chasing him down. And as soon as like Michael's like, leave me alone, they get attacked by like these random guys who in my mind, they look like straight up adults. So I'm thinking, I'm like, are there like random adults just attacking children in the park?
Like 16.
With maybe, yeah. So they're just surrounded by like these 16-year-olds and they get attacked by a bunch of snowballs. So then epic snowball fight breaks out. And apparently that's another thing elves are good at making snowballs and throwing them.
And dishing them out real fast.
Yeah, they are. In the time that it takes Michael to make one snowball, he's made like 30. So
have you ever seen, it's a horrendously bad movie called Jack Frost. And
oh yeah. Is that a horror movie
Michael
or is
Keaton.
that like a regular movie?
So there is a horror movie called Jack Frost, but the one that I'm talking about has Michael Keaton as Jack Frost, and it's from 1998. And it's where Michael Keaton, he dies and then comes back as a snowman. And so during this movie, there is an epic snowball fight just like this, where him as a snowman is able to like create 1,000 snowballs to throw at these mean kids while he's on like a sled, and it's hilarious. Oh my gosh. This movie is so funny, and the Jack Frost snowman is so terrifying, and it's so good. And just how bad it is. So
I think I may have seen it, but it's been a long time. I probably have never revisited it after the first time. So
Morgan and I used to watch this movie every year religiously. Like, so bad it's good. Like, this might have been where my love for bad movies came from. I don't know.
I feel like that's, I can see Michael Keaton being a creepy snowman because he has those really expressive eyebrows.
And they really made the snowman look like him. It's so funny.
Oh, that's really creepy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So at some point in time, we may have to do that. I don't know, but we'll see.
Oh gosh. Oh man. So back to Michael and Buddy. They decide to spend the rest of the day together, and Michael convinces Buddy to ask Jovi out. It's very awkward and adorable.
Yeah, because he doesn't understand the concept of asking somebody out. He's like, ask her out to what?
Yeah, and then Michael's like, it's like a girl code. And he clearly doesn't understand either, so 2 and 2.
Because he's like
did not
14.
Right. Yeah. Oh, man. So he asks her out, and she says yes. Walter decides to take Buddy to work with him because he's like, we cannot leave him alone in this house. He's going to destroy it. He cannot be alone. As a
he's just going to make it into a beautiful winter wonderland. That's what he's going to do. He's going to repurpose everything. He was the original Etsy like furniture repurposer.
Yeah. The OG. Yep.
The OG.
Oh man. So not shockingly, but he's just a nuisance to Walter at work. So he convinces him to go to the mailroom.
It's so shiny down there.
I know, yeah.
Although it's dark and dank.
Yeah, he makes him think he's in for a treat, and then he's like, I don't think this is the right place. Like, everybody looks like they want to hurt me. But he ultimately ends up making some friends. One of the guys is pouring some sort of alcohol into his coffee, but Buddy thinks that it's syrup. So
syrup?
Like, ooh, I want some of that. So they get drunk.
He pours the entire thing.
Yep.
He's got that poor man's flask.
I know. The poor guy's probably thinking, like, are you going to replace that? Like,
right? Like, excuse me, I needed that to last me the entire day.
I know. They get totally drunk, and they end up having a party down there, man. He is like, elves are also very good at dancing. What is that type of dance?
It's like a Russian dance.
It's like a Russian kind of, I don't know.
Hold on, let me look. Russian dance. Okay. So, traditional Russian folk dance. According to the internet, Khoravat, I'm going to assume that's how you pronounce it. Baryenya, or Kamarinskaya.
Okay.
We're going to...
Well, we'll go with it, yeah.
Chachatka. Oh, Chachatka is the Russian tap dance. So I don't know if that might be it. I don't know.
Okay.
There's a lot of these. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Komi dancing.
There's a lot of Russian type dancing.
I need to learn myself here. My gosh.
Oh, man.
All right. But back to you.
Yeah.
Some kind of traditional Russian jumping, tap,
Folky
dancing
dancing.
going on.
Yep. Yeah. Everybody's loving it though.
It's
So
good.
they're jamming out. Yep. So Buddy and Jovi go on their date, and it's so cute because at the very beginning, when he first arrives to New York, he sees the sign for world's best coffee and he busts in. He's like, congratulations, you did it. So that's where he ultimately ends up taking Jovi. And she's like, it tastes like a crap cup of coffee. And she takes off the blindfold. She's like, it is a crappy cup of coffee.
He's like, no, it's the world's best coffee.
They run through like spinning doors. They go see Christmas trees. They do some ice skating where they kiss, where they share a kiss. Very
She takes him to see the Christmas tree at Rockefeller Center, which is apparently a big deal if you go to New York in wintertime.
Mhm.
So if you ever are in New York, go to the Rockefeller Center. That's where the ice skating is. And you see this giant ass tree and it's cool.
I would not do that. Did you do that?
No, because I wasn't there during Christmas time.
Oh, okay.
But I think
I thought you had
for
been
whatever reason,
before.
yeah, I've been to New York like twice, but oh wait, no, I've been to New York 3 times.
The one time we did go was around Christmas time. Oh my
Mhm.
God, that place was a hellhole because it was so packed. I remember we did want to go visit the Rockefeller tree. We saw the crowds and we're like, nah, let's leave. The ice
You can
skating
see from a
rink-
distance.
Yeah, it's big enough to see from a distance. Also, the ice skating rink is so tiny. And the
Yeah, and
lines
it's
there
packed.
are like hours long. And it's like, I just,
Mhm.
they make it seem so much bigger on TV. And then you see it in real life. And
Yeah.
you're like, what? So yeah, personally, don't think it's worth it. Oh man. So at Walter's work, Miles Finch, who's played by Peter Dinklage, arrives. He's like this like big name, apparently in the publishing world. He arrives to save their butts, technically. And so he shows up for the pitches, and Buddy busts in shouting that he's in love and he doesn't care who hears it. And he confuses Miles and thinks that he is an elf. So he's like unintentionally antagonizing this guy. He's like, just pop a note, just Santa know, how did you get here? Did you have to take a reindeer? And so he's like, dude, come call me an elf one more time. So he's like, this is an angry elf. And he literally climbs on the table and like kicks his ass.
He like uses some jujitsu
Yep.
and like gets him in a neck hold. Like it's a whole thing.
There's like some serious like wrestling moves going on here. So of course he's out. They don't have a story to pitch. Walter's work or job is on the line. So he yells at him and he tells him to get out of his life. Very sad. Even everybody in the room, you can tell everybody feels really sad for him.
Yeah.
So Buddy runs off, and back at home, he writes a goodbye note on an etch. Is it Etch-a-Sketch?
Etch-a-Sketch, yeah. He's got some serious Etch-a-Sketch skills.
Yes. He's got some mad skills on an Etch-a-Sketch, writes a goodbye note. My favorite part is when he says, I'm sorry that I shoved 6 crayons into the VCR and broke it or something like that.
Oh no. I'm surprised. Like I know that we had a VCR in 2003, but I was pretty sure that was passe at that point in time.
What I think it was their VCR that he said he shoved those into. I don't think he shoved anything into a DVD player. I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe.
He's got some mad Etch-a-Sketch skills, so he could do anything as far as I'm concerned.
Oh man. So Michael finds the note. He runs over to his dad's work. He interrupts the meeting to tell Walter that Buddy is gone. Of course, he's like, just wait. I'll help you find him later. And Michael's like pleading with him. He's like, please. He's like, you don't care about anybody. He cares about everybody. All you care about is your work.
Work.
So his boss is like, I flew all the way out here for this pitch. You're going to give it to me. And in response, he tells him, up yours. With that.
Up yours.
Up yours.
Nope, that wasn't even close to New York.
Nope. No,
I don't know what I just did.
I know. Maybe you can edit that out. Anyways, both are worse. So Buddy's he's outside walking, and he sees Santa's sleigh crash land in Central Park.
Which is huge, by the way.
I-
That is not a secret. Like, while the Rockefeller Center ice skating rink is small, Central Park is huge.
Ooh. Okay.
They have an entire zoo in there, and it's great.
Yeah, nice.
And that's not even most of it. They also have an ice skating rink at Central Park, too. So you can go there.
Probably bigger than the one at Rockefeller Center.
I think so. Yeah.
So somehow in this giant park, he ends up finding Santa. Santa's like, he's on it, man. It's like he's seen some shit. Because he was ready to like attack him with like a crowbar of some sort. It's like, pack up.
You have to be vigilant when you're out there, you know?
Yeah,
you
you
never
do.
know what kind of situation you're landing into when you're Santa.
True, yeah. Oh, man. So Santa's like, of course, glad to see Buddy. He tells him that he's the best elf he's ever met and that he wants him to fix his sleigh. And
Now I'm trying to figure out how much of that is desperation. Be like, let me stroke your ego.
Right?
Yes.
Does he really mean it, or is he just desperate?
Right. I feel like Buddy just suddenly became Rudolph, where it's like, oh, you have something that I need right now. So you are the only person who can do this.
So sad. I hope that's not the case. But oh man. So Michael and Walter also meet up with them and they try to help. And the Central Park Rangers also show up. So Santa already knows that they are bad news bears.
He's like, oh, it's the Rangers.
The fun fact, which I thought was so interesting, apparently the design of the Central Park Rangers is a reference to the ring wraiths from the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And also the Rangers were always shot in silhouettes to hide their real appearance.
I can definitely see that. When I first saw it, I thought it was like a reference to the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. So
Yeah. I can see it too.
But yeah, both make sense to me. But I love the fact that it's modeled after Lord of the Rings. It brings my heart so much joy.
I know.
As big Lord of the Rings fans as we are.
Yes. So Michael actually steals Santa's book to try to convince everyone that he's real. Joey leads everyone in song to Santa is coming to town to spread the Christmas cheer. And then we just see little snippets of everyone from the city singing, people in bars, children in their homes.
Who are all watching the news for whatever reason.
Yeah, they all happen to be conveniently watching the news at that time. Yeah.
Yep. You better watch out.
Well, it's breaking news because
Better
they all saw something fall out of the sky. So
Yeah.
I guess I would be
mean-
watching the news if I saw something fall out of the sky too. So
Trying to decide if I would actually know if anything were to fall out of the sky.
that's true.
Like as it's
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
Like
we would be
if
so
it's not on
clueless.
Instagram, I
Yeah.
don't know. Like
Oh man, that's scary. Yeah. I need to get out more. We're gonna be the people in those like post-apocalyptic movies who die first. Because we're just
I'm
not
okay
gonna have
with
any
that.
idea.
I have
going
a
on.
strict policy that if I were to ever be put in a life or death situation where I have to like really strive to live, I don't
Yeah.
think I'd make it. I'd just give up. I'm just like,
I
okay,
don't think
I'm
I
done.
want to live. Yeah.
right.
It's too much
I'm like,
work. I'm like, no, I'm ready to tap out. I
Yeah.
don't need to live in this. Yeah.
I don't think I want to be the first person to die, but
Yeah. I want to see
That is
how
fine.
much how far are we willing to go? How serious? What is the severity of the situation? If it's too much, I'm good.
like if it's gonna be like The Happening where it's over by 9 a.m. tomorrow,
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Mhm.
I'll make it then. But
Yeah.
if it's,
If this is some I Am
it's something
Legend
else.
shit, no, I'm good.
Yeah. I'm good. I'm tapping out. You
Yeah.
can take me. Take me now.
Cut the show. Cut the show.
I volunteer as tribute.
Yes. I will be the one to like sacrifice myself with like a bomb or something, or hold the zombies back. Be like, you go ahead. I'll fight them off as long as possible.
Just make sure to shoot me in the head as soon as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Like,
so get a head start, turn around and shoot me.
Yes. I will volunteer to distribute to be the first man down, but as long as you've got my back. Like,
Yes.
I think we had the same conversation when we talked to Leah last time.
Oh yeah, probably. Oh goodness. Oh gosh, this keeps just getting dark.
I know. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. It's how we feel. It's where we are in life right now.
30 is brutal, man.
30s are rough. Yep. So the clausometer, as they call it, is finally boosted because there's all this Christmas cheer around, and the sled finally is able to fly on its own. So they fly off over New York City, and every time this scene plays, I just feel so nostalgic, and I get the chills, and I just feel so warm.
Aww.
So I love this ending so much. So yeah, so they all spend Christmas together. And later on, they visit Papa Elf with baby Susie.
Because Buddy and Jovi have made it all the way through. Yes. They've solidified their relationship, and they have now had a baby who's equally as big as Buddy was when he was a baby. But what's great is, like, they take Jovi up to the North Pole too while they're visiting Papa Elf, and like she's in this pink outfit, and it's great.
She's dressed for the part. Yep. She understood the assignment.
I can see you in that outfit, but with like some sparkles on it.
Yeah, that would be so much fun.
Now, anytime that I see anything with sparkles on it, I always think of you. I'm like, yep, this is now Celeste's vibe. She has gone to her Eras tour, like vibe, place. Yeah,
I know. I think it's also just coming with age too. That, like, care less. I'm starting to gain more of like an older ladies.
Don't give a fuck vibe.
Yeah, don't give a fuck vibe. Also, like their style, like where everything's bedazzled and shiny and glittery and animal print. I'm like, yes. Brazilian would call it little girl clothes.
Excuse me.
I had a sparkle print that was glittery, and he's like, "Why do you buy little girl clothes? It's either little girl clothes or grandma clothes." Yeah.
I get grandma clothes a lot. Like anytime that I buy anything with floral print on it, and he's like, yep, that's your grandma clothes. And I'm like, excuse me, floral print is timeless.
It is. Thank you very much.
We'll be right together. It's fine.
Yes. So that was the end of this classical movie. Classical. What? How old does a movie need to be in order for it to be considered a classic? What do you think?
I think at least 5 years.
Really? That's it? Or okay.
Our attention spans are very short these days.
That's
so
true.
If you can make it at least 5 years to watch something time and time again, like that is a classic.
That makes sense. Yep.
I think maybe like 20 years ago, it probably would have been 10 years, but now it's shortened to 5 years.
Yeah, nah.
We just don't have time for this shit, you know?
We don't have time. We don't know where we're going to end up. I just saw that
I keep reading that today's Tuesday. Like,
I just saw that Netflix movie. What is it called? Leave the World Behind.
Oh, I have not seen that.
Oh yeah, apparently it's produced by the Obamas. I know. So everybody's like creeped out. They're like, is this a warning to us all? Because it's not your average like post-apocalyptic movie. And so now I'm like, oh shit, now I'm going to go down the rabbit hole again. Like, conspiracies. Like, oh crap, I need to stock up on water and canned goods. I need to get my crank radio that's been in my Amazon cart. Like, I
need to make my emergency kit. It's fine.
I need to buy an updated map for when the internet, when our Wi-Fi or internet towers
just
or whatever.
Go back to MapQuest and start printing shit out.
Yep, pretty much. So, unfortunately, this movie does not pass the Bechdel test.
Nope.
And then, as you did mention before, the making of this movie is on a Netflix series called The Movies That Made Us. So it is on season 3, It is episode 8, and I highly recommend checking it out because...
And I double recommend that. It's so fun. And you learn, like, Will Ferrell had never really been in a movie before, and they didn't want him to be in the movie. Yep. But then, like, as they were making this movie and getting ready for it to launch, like, Old School came out. And so then he really did become, like, somebody they could see in movies. And that's really what's, like, launched Will Ferrell's career and made him who he is today. Mm-hmm. So.
Yep. And also, apparently, in a different version, they wanted Jovi to play like a hooker or a prostitute.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like
very Pretty Woman.
Yeah. I'm like, I can do that. Like, why can I say that? Because she has like that edgy look. Mm-hmm. I love this version, but it's really interesting.
I like the fact that, like, every so often, somebody doesn't have to only be exuding sex.
Yeah.
It can be, I'm a regular person just trying to make it through the world.
Yeah.
Leave me be.
Please. I don't have it in me. I'm tired. I'm tired.
I'm too tired for this shit.
Yeah. Oh, man. Alrighty, Kenzie. So what is your espresso shots rating?
I'm going to give this a solid 4 to me. And I think when you first watch it, it's downright hilarious. Mm-hmm. You do get more from it as you watch it. Like, so you catch on to certain things, but there are still some of those bits of humor that will forever be hilarious. But there is some parts of it that you've seen the joke before, and so it's not as funny. But it's still a really good movie. It's still really heartwarming. It's very fun to watch and very just like all around a good movie. And I know that was a really bad description of that, but that's what I can come up with.
No, I think it summed it up perfectly. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Mine is a solid 5. This is a total classic for me that I love and a must watch every Christmas. Anyway, it's totally heartwarming. It's adorable. I'm happy that it didn't age poorly.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah. So I think it's still hilarious every single time. I still find the jokes so funny. And yeah. Love
and
this movie.
I do like the like childhood wonder that Buddy brings to the whole movie, you know? Yeah. Like, it kind of reminds us as adults, like, it's okay to not take everything so seriously.
Yes. I think that's something that we all need a reminder of. Definitely.
Very much so. But yeah, so happy 20 years to Elf.
Yay! I know. I actually have some Buddy the Elf magnets on the fridge right now.
I think I've read them.
Yeah. Pretty sure I have a shirt. Like, I didn't realize what a big fan I was. Like,
when you become an accidental fan.
Yeah. That'll happen to you at this movie.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much.
Yeah.
So highly recommend.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Caffeinated Flicks. We're a self-published podcast produced and edited by Kenzie.
We'd love to hear from you. Let us know what films you'd like us to cover, what we can do better, or just say hi.
If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can follow us on Instagram at caffeinatedflickspod or email us at caffeinatedflicks@gmail.com. We'll catch you on the flick side.